Hey, hi everybody, and welcome back to this 5-day challenge. Rise from silence, fellas. Understanding that the most powerful gift that we can do is exercise the truth, right? I want to thank everybody for showing up, everybody for participating, and all the feedback that we've been getting. And just want you to know that yesterday, day 3, yesterday, man, that bridge from yesterday, we talk about how to stay the hard thing, right? Tomorrow, next week, wherever you might be, right? Each day we've been through this process, one day stacked on top of the other one. So I always like to review, just so if you're stopping in for the first time, welcome. And we want to thank you for taking your time out to be a part of this process, because day 1 through day 5, we add a little bit of step to each day. The main purpose, the main promise has always been, man, the main promise and will continue to be getting you comfortable, understanding the power of vulnerability as a strength, as a real gift in a relationship, and really getting away the reasons that we say we behave a certain way, and we use silence as a tool, right? Look, first of all, I want to be clear. Sometimes silence, when you have to go silent, is probably a good thing if you're about to say some words or behave in a way that you're like, oh, you can't undo what you do. You know what I mean? When you say some things you can't take back, or you act a certain way and you're not proud of it, or you become childish in a lot of ways, but it's all about you. Yeah, I just kind of slid that one in there. That's a Jeffism, right? And then we kind of do that, right? And so we want to own all of that. Because at the end of the day, right, the promise, as I said before, is for you to really take, and day 1, we really challenge you to take a look at the real issue behind the behavior, right? And then give you a glimpse from the mirror moment exercise of the patterns that happen once the trigger is tripped, right? And then the behaviors start, that cycle, man. And then you go through all of that and really kind of removing the excuse that I'm just a communicator, I'm always that way, I'm better if I just calm down and don't say anything, it always works out. Whatever that is that you've been using, right? All that. And then the day 2 was about really kind of looking at the silence, truthfully looking at silence is, as I was just mentioning, right? Day 1, we were using it as an excuse, really. Day 2, we look at it as understanding the power of it, using it as a strength, avoiding blowing up some things we can't undo, making a fool of ourselves, whatever that might be, right? And then looking at that part of it, and then really taking ownership on when that excuse falls in. When we're using fear is using the silence, right? Yeah, fear is using the silence because we're operating in fear. Whatever you're thinking, that's what it is. It lies in that, right? Fear of not being good enough, fear of being, disrespected, fear of whatever you want to put in the line after that. Right? So that's day 2. And then day 3, yesterday, man, stop blaming. Stop blaming and start leading. And that's kind of when we really have to really start to really look at ourselves. And the mirror moment that we use is just that. It's just that. Each day, you take a reflection time in the mirror, and really it's just you and you. Right? When you're looking in the mirror, the only person looking back at you is you and all the other yous behind, right? All the other people behind that, right? There's more than one, right? What's that lady that had many different personalities? They called her Sybil. Yeah. Well, fellas, we have a Sybil in us too, right? So that mirror moment kind of lets us reflect back with ourselves, right? So in day 3, man, we stop the blaming. And we don't blame the ladies. This is not about that at all, because it's not the ladies' fault how we behave. That's not what this is about. That's not who I am, fellas. It's about owning our own behaviors in this process, right? So anyway, so that's it. Day 1, they talked about day 2. Moving kind of, and again, stacking it up. You looked at it in the mirror. You said, oh, right? And really, ultimately, in day 1, I didn't mention this, but I want to make sure I do it. When we really get down to it, it's that. And this is what people, some people are like, man, I ain't got nothing to do talking about really going back and looking at early childhood issues, traumas, experiences, right? I mean, everything's created. By the time we're 8 years old, baby, we got a pattern that pattern, if it doesn't get disrupted, can be a monster. And it can be a great thing, right? But when we're talking about behavioral and relationships and conducting ourselves in mature ways, man, if we don't see it, we don't be it. If we're not taught it, we don't be it, right? How do you communicate vulnerably and comfortably without using it as a controlling mechanism? All that stuff that we talk about in behavior, right? This is not a behavioral science course. And what I'm talking about today, but I'm just giving you a fact that some guys are like, oh man, that don't mean nothing. I'm not affected by that. Well, I'm gonna tell you, you are. If you haven't dealt with it, you are. So anyway, get back to the little boy, right? That's who we're dealing with. You know, we're talking about, I had a conversation with a dear friend of mine, relative, and she was talking about that she's, you know, in her 60s. And she says, you know, Jeff, man, I'm excited about the next years of my life because I'm really only 13 years old. Hear me when I say this. She said, I'm really only 13 years old. And when she went on to explain, and this is what applies to what we're doing, right? The way her life was and how she kind of lived for everybody else. And then people started passing in her life that were important to her. She found herself sitting by herself, wondering who the hell she was, what she really liked to do, what she didn't like to do, what she enjoyed, who she didn't enjoy, right? How she felt about herself or how she didn't feel about herself. And that's what happens when you go back and you grab that little 5-year-old, like I did, the hand of your little self, your younger self, man, who early on in their life learned that being honest was not a good thing, right? Honesty was something that caused harm. Honesty was something that didn't really serve me, us, fellas, right? I mean, so this is kind of who this is for, too. If you're listening and you're wondering if any of this is resonating with you, and put a comment in the comment section. Yes, me, put me. Oh, man, thank you, whatever. Just drop something in there as you hop in here, man. Let me know where you're coming from. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, those are the main streaming spots. Don't have a Zoom app on this one today. Anyway, to the little boy. Yesterday, stop blaming, start leading. And that bridge from yesterday, right, is to teach you how to say the hard thing without falling apart. Teach you how to say the hard thing without falling apart or fighting back. And I used to be argumentative when I was in this space before. I used to kind of just, use whatever I could to kind of throw noise the other way so I could kind of keep control of. I didn't know it then, but I know it now. Kind of keep my safety zone, fellas. I mean, I was tired of keeping that safety zone. You know that zone. When you get in there the pattern runs you, and you're in that pattern where you're silent and you're continuing to be silent, and sooner or later you guys just walk away from each other, or if it's at night, you either roll over on each side of the bed, or if she's just really sick and tired, yes, she send you downstairs to the couch where you choose to go because you choose not to show up. I'm gonna say that again. You choose not to show up because we're making choices all the time, right? Whether we're conscious of them or not. So anyway, making choices not to show up. So you guys get the picture. So today, I mean, let's make sure I've got everything covered here that I probably don't, but oh well. Man, I tell you something. It's really important to understand that this is a safe zone. And before I get into today's process, I always like to ask, if I may, to just be who I am and not be critical. That's not where I come from. It's not judgmental. That's not where I come from. It's just my own earned, shared experiences and some education around the subject that we're having here. I believe in mentorship and coaching and some guidance along the areas, all areas of my life. And so anyway, can we just have a safe conversation? Because at the end of the day, right, whatever choice you make, and today I think we may be able to give you an opportunity to look a little closer at us and at me, I think it might be prepared. We've been working on it. But anyway, I want to just say to you, continue to hang in there with me. Make sure you're doing the exercise. Yesterday's, we had something done yesterday. I want to make sure that I just started that. Let me see where it was. It's a work exercise, the ownership rewrite, right? And if you didn't get the recording yesterday, here's the ownership rewrite from the exercise about, excuse me, stop blaming and start leading. The ownership rewrite is about really this. List who and what you still blame for your silence. I want to make sure I get that out there. List who and what you still blame for your silence, for this behavior. What are you pointing your finger at? Who is that, right? Did you in that situation? And then rewrite every line starting with the word I, not this one. Not she made me. When I wrote a note to myself. She made me shut down. How many times do you hear yourself saying that when you're talking to your friends, you're talking to your buddies who are confirming the behavior that's really not the behavior you want to continue to live in and exercise? Stop hanging around the same cats and talking about the same message around this piece, right? If they're telling you how correct you are about doing this silent treatment or just refusing to lean in, if they're talking about how you can't afford to be honest all the way, you got to keep something from your partner. If they're telling you whatever that is, that's creating that distance, creating that wall that's built automatically. And on the other side of that wall, you're stacking up resentments for her. You're stacking up one last, you're stacking up the reasons for her to one day say, man, I'm sorry, but I've got to go. I love you, but I've got to go. How many times have you been told that? And listen, man, I mean, some relationships, it's a good thing that it ends up that way because both of y'all probably need some work, right? And that's cool. But if you're in a relationship, man, and you're not cheating on each other and you love one another and you really wanted to make it work, then this is some work that'll help you get connected. This is some work that'll help you elevate to the next level. This is the work that's super important if you're truly going to be that power couple, right? This is stuff my wife and I work on, right? I mean, I'm grateful to have a wife who is like, man, she is bad to the bone, right? And in all aspects of life and willing to get better. And we practice all these things that we're talking about. It's a practice session. Every morning we come together to the best of our abilities. And what are we practicing today in behaviors? What are we practicing today in our words and communication? What are we practicing today that's uncomfortable? Well, Sarah Blakely's dad told her for years, hey, when you're going to school, it's about what did you fail at today? What did you try that no one else was willing to try? Tell me about what you learned from that, right? Just think how much stronger we would step into faith and fear, things that scare us and with more courage and courageousness if we would just do that. And that fits into this piece of our lives, fellas, right? I mean, how can you be powerhouse in the boardroom, but when it comes home and you're in a situation in communication, you clam up? Because the power of what's stuck inside of you, holding you back, covered up by a whole lot of other noise, is stronger than anything else you've got. It's in your fibers, man. It's a learned feeling. You see, we can talk about that forever. We don't have time to do that today. So anyway, you guys get where I'm coming from, right? So listen, as we get ready to go into the exercise, is there anything else that I thought I needed to talk to you about? The mirror moment. Who are you still blaming for the man who refused to become? So that's what you were supposed to bring to today's exercise. Who are you still blaming for the man you refused to become? And that ownership rewrite was supposed to help you get some relief on that. So if you hear this and you're like, man, I need some help with some direction, DM me on the word help, and I'll be sure to help you with this. This is really important exercise. So today, day 4, right? Day 4, baby. Vulnerability is a disciplined truth. What the hell does that mean, Jeff? But I already told you, most men see vulnerability as a weakness. Wrong. Vulnerability is a strength with the safety off. What's that mean? That means that vulnerability is the ability to tell the truth and not hide behind the little boy that you found out that you're still hiding behind, and you're not blaming anybody anymore. and you're stepping into the fact that you can't control the outcome of your behaviors. You can't control how she receives your vulnerability. There's no guarantees that it's going to be received with open arms. Man, it's not. But you're not doing it so much for her. You're doing it for yourself first. Right? It's just like this whole thing around love, man. Fellas, we struggle in relationships because we really don't like who we truly are yet. I said like. How many of you are cycling in and out of relationships, and there's always something wrong with the person that you're in and out of, and you always kind of, they say if you see it, you be it, right? There's some biblical term about seeing the wood in your eye. Like I think when everybody was wanting to stone this lady or something because she was doing all these things, and then I think Jesus asked her, so who in here is like, which one of y'all is doing and say y'all living a clean life? I'm just breaking it down. So which one of y'all living a clean life, right? Ooh, nobody. They all walked away. Ooh, man, I don't know where that one came from. But anyway. Oh, yeah. Okay. So what are we talking about? Day 4, reframe. But by the end of the day, you'll know how to say the hardest things that you've been holding back and say it like a leader. Right? So it's really important to hear me when I tell you this, that, man, this exercise is really helpful for you for not only becoming a better communicator and stepping into vulnerability, being that partner that's your partner's looking for, all in on it, but you'll also, it will show up in your business, it will show up on your job, it will show up in your efforts in the community, right? Because there's just a transformation that happens. Had happened to me when I found it was like, man, I've done it. It's out there. I can't control the outcome. I've done it. I behaved and demonstrated vulnerability. Whatever the issue was is out there, and I can't control the outcome. And regardless of what happens, I know I stood in my truth. That's what this is about, man. Standing in your own truth, regardless of the outcome of it. And I'm not saying just be a complete pushover. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, man, too many of us are hiding our greatness behind unhealed wounds. Too many of us are hiding our greatness behind the fact that we're trying to control how somebody's going to receive us, man. And that ain't it. Most of the time, we already see the wonderful person that you are, but you don't. Ooh, you don't. Do you always see yourself the way you should be? Excuse me. Okay, let's get to work. So, vulnerability equals discipline, truth. Here's the filter. Am I honest? I'm going to give you something to think about. Am I honest or reacting? Sharing truth or avoiding pain? So let's see, honest or reacting, right? Are you reacting with no thought of honesty, no thought of really being engaged? Are you just reacting to something that's going to lead you down that path to silence again, that'll lead you down that path where you're not communicating, where you're making choices that don't strengthen the relationship, right? Are you honest or reacting? And are you sharing truths or unloading some crap, man? Pain. So, and that's where the ownership of making sure you take the time, right? Self-control. That's that discipline. What are we talking about today? Vulnerability is a disciplined truth, right? Taking some time and action to get disciplined in this space, man. So for those of you coming in and out, and when you stop in, please let us know where you're coming in from. And if you're coming in and you're like, what the hell I'm talking about, then make sure you get the replay, right? And go all the way back to day 1 if this is your first day, because the replays will be out to the end of day 5, I think, or day 6. But anyway, again, am I honest? Am I honest? Or am I reacting? Right? Am I being honest? Or am I in reactive mode? Am I sharing the truth or unloading? Which one is it? Unloading some pain. Here's the other one. Self-control and ownership. Because there's some traps out there that we fall into. One of them is dumping. I talked about that already. Out loud, dumping out loud, man. I would just, as honesty. Man, I'm being honest. I'm just, you just dropping some, I almost said the wrong word. You're dropping some things that really don't matter. You're not really being honest. You're just dropping some things that are distractions. They may have some relevancy somewhere in the communication, but they're not really truthful at that point. You're just talking. So is that person, or are you? There's two of this. So you got that person that's just talking to be talking and not dropping anything that's at relevancy, or you're that person that says, I'm just waiting for the right time. Both of these allow you to hide forever in that space, man. And we're done hiding, fellas. Right? We're done hiding. We're not going to be using excuses anymore, man, about why we are using this. Because vulnerability is a key piece, baby. The true intimacy. Right? When you and your partner are together, no words have to be spoken. Right? You're just there. You move together in rhythm. Man, think about what I'm talking about, guys, because this is some real stuff that's possible to move in rhythm. It was somewhere my wife and I were doing something, and we're working on something together, and we had our coach with us, and when the exercise was over, man, the coach paid us a compliment that I'm sharing. If those of you that are really looking for a relationship, this real relationship that you got to put some work in to make a difference in your life, and she says, I really appreciate how you and your wife roll together, right? She said some other things, but the summation of it was that, right? Complimenting each other, and then it just seemed like a natural, easy flow. And what she saw is years of work and continued work that morning, probably. So if that's what you're looking for, man, that's the promise. That you two can have a space that's safe and strengthening, because the more you can be vulnerable, the more you can pull off the layers. And listen, when you get finished working all that crap out of there too, that we help you get out, right? I mean, there's exercises we do to really kind of get down to what we talked about at the very beginning of day one, when that little boy is still waiting for you. Still waiting for you, man. Mine was waiting. When I got there, I envisioned this. When I got there, he was like, I reached down, he reached up, man. He said, I knew you was coming back. So yours is going to have the same message for you. So as we kind of get to, let me see what I have something for you. I believe I do. Where is it? Yeah. Day 5 challenge from silence, 4, day 4. Have an exercise. Oh yeah. Here we go. The draft the truth. Before I show you this, I want you to do this and hang in there. Write one thing, fellas. Write one thing you've been withholding from her. Just pick one up. And listen, sometimes we got a whole lot of stuff we keep from our wives until we get a chance to upload it to her and share information, right? So what's one thing you've been withholding from her? Then, right, let me see, edit it like a leader. Cut the blame. Cut the blame. Because there's been some blame in there, man. Take a look and make sure it's none. Right? Take a look and make sure there's no blame in it. He might not be, but there's something in there more than likely. So anyway, you're taking, here we go. Cut the excuses, cut the unloading. So you got blame, excuses, and unloading. We're going to just drop all that stuff to the side. Keep only the disciplined truths. So blame, unloading, gone. Only the truth. Do not say it yet. Just get it ready. So what am I asking you to do? I'm asking you to write the one thing you've been withholding from her. Pick something meaningful, right? Don't not something that has no impact and change. I mean, that's cool if that's all you got. If that's all you got, please do that. But I'm challenging you to get into something that really has an impact. Then edit it like a leader. Cut it out. Make sure that there's no blame. Excuse me. No excuses. No unloading. Just crap in there, right? Keep only the disciplined truth. Only what's real. Okay, and there's a part in here that says, hey, look, you don't have to say what it is. You don't have to say it out loud yet. Because tomorrow, day 5, man, we take everything that we've been through. I've been looking at the excuses, understanding the strength where silence and retreat makes sense, and when it's just wasted time and it's a bunch of crap. And then no more blaming, taking some leadership roles. And today we're talking about vulnerability, man. That's a disciplined truth. Discipline to me is something that you have to really build. A disciplined habit is a habit built up repetitive through a discipline. Discipline to me is deciding to do the undesirable thing that's necessary to get to the next level until it gets to become part of the process, and then the next thing shows up. Right? That discipline to show up when you don't want to, that discipline to show up when you don't think it's working, that discipline to show up when everything is screaming to say, do it tomorrow. Right? Do it tomorrow. That discipline that says, no, I'm doing it today because I made a commitment. Discipline, committed. Commitment, discipline. Man, when you put those two together, baby, you running home. Man, you're on fire. So what? Discipline and commitment. Anyway, another conversation. We love to have those two at Come Back King Enterprise. So anyway, what am I doing here? All right, guys. So that's the exercise. But let me show you something. Boom. Okay. I put this together just so to give you an idea of what you can work on. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger. There we go. How's that? All right. All right. So look at it. This is Rise from Silence Day 4 template for you. And if you want this and want to work through it with me, let me know, and we'll schedule a time to do that. It takes really, about an hour together, but you can do it on your own. But look, vulnerability is not weakness. Vulnerability is disciplined truth. That's the hope we've been talking about. There's one thing you've been holding back. Today, write it down. I just ask you to do that, right? Then sharpen it like a leader. Don't send it yet. Look, tomorrow we're going to, anyway, I was going to give away tomorrow, but no, show up tomorrow. Don't send it yet. Just get it ready. Whatever that is, I ask you about. What's the one thing you've been holding back from? And then here, this second piece, the raw truth, right? The one thing you've been withholding. Don't edit it yet. Just get it out. Dump it, man. Do it like you're doing strategic planning. Do it like you're trying to reset some goals. Do it like it means the most important thing for you. So whatever comes to mind, you write it down. Just get it all out there, right? That little space ain't going to be enough, but then you get the idea. That's where you start. Grab your notepad, your phone, whatever you use. And then run through this filter. Create a filter. The filter to hopefully to get the crap out of, right? To get you to what's really, really important. It's just like the 7 levels deep when you're talking about your goals and your objectives, man. It's a really powerful exercise. All right, keep going, Jeff. So then, honest. Check each one honestly. If you can't check it, it's not ready. Honest, not reacting. I'm telling a truth or just venting a feeling. 2, truth, not unloading. Is it truth and not unloading? Am I sharing one thing or dumping everything? And you get the picture. Owning and blaming it's about my part or her fault, right? Right timing, or am I using timing as an excuse to keep things hiding? Stay calm, said calm. Can I say it without falling apart and without fighting back? You could be as nervous as hell, fellas. I mean, when I started to really kind of get into the power of just showing up to the best of my ability and not worrying about the outcome and understanding that I believe that she would be receptive of what it is I'm coming to her with, right? And she might not. So you learn how to clear the space before you come in there. Don't come into your woman when she's had a hell of a day and you say, hey, you know, you want to talk to her and you say some things that she's not ready to receive. And then you get mad at her. Come on, man. Yeah, okay. Okay, then the discipline version. Rewrite it clean. Take out all the blame, excuses, right? And the truth. Less standing. So the exercise, get it out there and whatever comes to mind. And the next one is kind of rewriting. And yeah, I told you at the very beginning of this challenge, I want you to do some work because work changes things. Just listening is great. Reviewing your notes is fantastic. And implementation is the key to everything, baby. Execution trumps learning all day long because you're going to learn when you execute faster than you will when you do some other things. Anyway, what I have here says, hold it, you know, say it tomorrow. This is something I want you to do with your partner, right? I mean, this is something that you, if you're really brave enough, if you've really been following, if you really want to make a difference, this is something that you can do right now, start to change, man. Start to create something new, right? So anyway, take this. If you want this thing, let me know. Let me see. It's something that I'd be glad to share with you and work with you on it. If that's something that you feel like can help you out, which I know it will. And gentlemen, let's see what we got coming up. I'm going to bridge to the tomorrow here. Let me see here, man. I know we got it. Where we got it at, baby? What we bridging for today? Come on now. Yes, close with tomorrow. Tomorrow, the rehearsal. In other words, we're going to take this whole thing, man, what you just finished today, and put together a little something you can take home. Remember, no dumping, no excuses, and no blaming. Just really, to the best of your ability, something that you want to tell her, and you really want to figure out how to get it out. And then rewrite it. And if you want to hear this, you hear the replay, you want to get this thing, let me know, I'll send it to you. So as we wrap up again, thank you very much. This exercise, man, is a game changer. I'm telling you, do the work. You need to have I think the replays might still be floating around. And if you can't find them, then DM me and let me know. Day 5 is coming up. Leadership starts at home. So everything that we've been talking about, right, you're going to be able to put something together and go back home with it. Right, and make a difference right now, man, not tomorrow. Well, I guess it will be tomorrow, but make a difference right away. Because I believe you can. I believe you deserve it. I believe that she deserves it. I believe the best relationships that you can create start with truth, discipline, vulnerability, and truth. No more silence. Time to pack up the silence and set it away, baby. I believe you can do it. I know you can do it. I've done it. If I can do it, you can do it. And let's do this thing together, man. I got something that I want you to think about. You know, I don't know. Tomorrow we're certainly going to talk about it. But I have an opportunity for those of you that are looking to work a little closer to me. I mean, I found out in my life when I was at the point when, you know, my business was really kind of like, man, it was a tough time in my life. The housing market crashed, and you know, I had my first business that I was building, and you know, and it was positioned to go from 7 figures to 8 figures, and then we had a goal to sell it at a certain mark, right? And everything was in the groove, man, but all of a sudden it wasn't, right? And so my business was falling apart. My first wife and I were going through a divorce, you know, and I was in a marriage that I thought would last forever. Right. And so when we talk about vulnerability and we talk about the willingness to share and talk to people about what's really going on, man, I was closed off more often than I was vulnerable. I was closed off more often than I was willing to get some help. And I found that what I'm talking to you about, when I became honest with what was really going on, I got that figured out and stopped looking at, you know, anybody else to blame and what I was doing to kind of manipulate things and take some ownership in my behaviors, man. And then I began to have some success. And I know you can too. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow. We got an outstanding opportunity coming down the pipeline. We want you to know about it. We'll talk to you about it and give you the opportunity to work closer with us. And it's going to be an amazing thing. So, I mean, if you've been through that and you're like, man, I know I can do, I need more. I need some guidance and I'm willing to do some work. And I believe in what Jeff's talking about. If that's you, stay tuned. All right, do the homework. If you want the Amazon, I just showed you, make sure you do that. And we'll see you tomorrow, baby. Last one, day 5. Wow, man, you guys have done a great job. We'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you're there, and we'll talk a whole lot about what's going on for you. And let's see how we can close this up, baby. Yeah, there we go. All right, guys, take care and have a great day. Appreciate everybody. And remember, as Comeback King Enterprises always says, your time is now. Let's walk this thing together. Comebacks are truly a lifestyle and not a limitation. Let's go, baby.